Welcome to 5% Radio, where it's all about learning like no one else today so you can live like no one else tomorrow. Please be sure to share and subscribe. What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode number 48 of the 5% Radio podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about the power of the 5 whys. So I'll give you 5 examples of how you can start using this to solve problems and bring clarity into your life right now. But first, I want to talk about something. So success in any field is always going to be led by and predicated on you having successful thinking. Now, what do I mean by that? So anywhere you see someone who succeeded, they first held thoughts in their head that brought them to the decision that they made in order to actually begin the journey to become successful. So your success ultimately comes down to your thinking. If your thinking is off, then your success is not going to happen. If your success is beginning to happen and then your thinking goes off or goes in the wrong direction, your success will not only stop, but it will regress. You will go backwards. I talked about this, and I think it was the last episode, the stream analogy. It's either going upstream or downstream. So before you can really begin to have success, you need to have successful or proper thinking. Before I can make proper decisions, I need to first have proper thinking. So the power of the 5 whys is all about thinking, and these 5 examples really will help you grasp this concept and understand how you can use this immediately to help solve your own problem. So anyway, let's go ahead and start with example number 1, which is my finances are a mess, or I'm broke. So you begin by asking yourself why. Again, I've talked about 5 whys. Now I wouldn't do less than 5, because if you do like 2 or 3, you're really not getting to the root issue, but you can do 5, you can do 7, you can do 10, whatever, but usually 5 is enough that you're beginning to get on the right track, because proper thinking is just learning to ask the right questions, which if you go to counselors or psychologists, any of that kind of stuff, they ask a few questions and they do a ton of listening. Few questions, ton of listening. So how can you do that for yourself? Ask the right questions and then search for the answers. Listen to your thoughts once you've asked the question. So questions ultimately are directing your thinking. So again, the issue, my finances are a mess / I'm broke. Why? I don't make enough money. Okay, so you don't make enough money. Why? Well, my bills are more than what I make every month. Why is that? I guess I'm undisciplined in my buying habits. In other words, I spend more than I make. Why? I don't want to wait to buy nice things because I work hard and I want stuff now that I want. Why? Well, if I waited and bought things cash, I wouldn't look like I was doing as well, and my friends, who are all doing the same thing that I'm doing, would have a bigger house, nicer cars, better furniture, newer phones, clothes, all that stuff. They'd have better things than me, and I really, just at the end of the day, I don't want to wait to have those things. You could go another level. Why? But just stop right there, just those 5. So again, here's the issue. My finances are a mess, or I'm broke. Why? I don't make enough money. Why? My bills are more than I make every month. Why? I'm undisciplined in my buying habits. In other words, I spend too much money. I spend more than I make. Most people spend like 103% of what they make every year. Some people more than that. Why? I don't want to wait to buy nice things. I want the stuff that I want now. Why? If I paid cash for things, if I bought things only when I could actually afford them, I wouldn't look like I was doing as well. I would look less successful. My friends would have nicer things than me. And I want what I want now. And I don't want my friends to think less of me because I'm being disciplined in my finances and I'm not able to buy as nice of things up front. What's the root problem? Possibly status, meaning I want to look like I'm doing good. My friends might think less of me if I have a super small house, have a really tiny old TV, eat cheap food, don't spend a bunch of money at restaurants, don't drive the newest car, don't have super new clothes, don't have a brand new phone every single time they come out with the next iPhone. Plus, everyone else is doing it. Like, why can't I just do what everyone else is doing? Well, the problem was that you're broke, that your finances are a mess, and you ask yourself why. So now you've realized here's the issue that you're seeing. Here's the effect, but the cause is this right here. I'm spending more than I make. Well, why is that? And find that reason. And it might be an ego thing. Or it may just be overall the fact that no one ever really taught you how to manage your finances, and you're realizing this for the first time, and you finally ask yourself these questions and come up with the answer. But the point is, because I ask myself why, I actually found the root cause. See, Stephen Covey gave this analogy in his book. I believe it was The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He said we can either trim the leaves or we can cut the roots, meaning I'm going to cut this leaf off. I'm going to pull this off the tree, but it keeps growing back. So we called this fruits and roots, meaning the fruit of the issue is what's growing out of the tree. The root of the issue is that if I kill the root, if you ever pulled a weed and then it came back, then you pulled it again, then it came back, and you pulled it again and it came back again, you're like, my gosh, like, what is up with this thing? You haven't actually taken it up by the roots. You haven't gotten to the root. Notice the saying, the root of the issue, the root problem. You haven't actually gotten down to the very bottom where you say, okay, this ground zero, like this is the real issue. If I fix this, if I kill these roots, those leaves, that fruit will stop growing. So that is the purpose of the 5 whys, is to get down below the surface, below the superficial stuff, below the things that you think, well, I can throw this out and it sounds good. There's 2 reasons that a man does anything. Number 1 is the reason that sounds good. Number 2 is the real reason. Just like there's 2 reasons that someone buys something. Number 1 is the reason that sounds good. Number 2 is the real reason that they actually want the thing. So understand that there's the reason that sounds good. Well, I'm broke, but my boss doesn't pay me enough. I need to get a different job. Well, could it be the fact that you maybe spend more than you make regardless of how much you make because you have undisciplined buying habits? So anyway, that is example number 1. Example number 2, what's the issue? I'm having major struggles in my marriage. My spouse and I fight all the time. And no, this is not confession. This is an example. I'm having major issues in my marriage. That's the issue. Well, why? My husband or wife, my spouse, is always getting on me about stuff. We're constantly disagreeing. We're always getting in fights. Why? Because no matter how hard I try, I can never seem to say the right thing or have a discussion that doesn't lead to an explosion, a blow up. Like we always end up breaking out in a fight no matter how hard I try. Why? Why is that? Well, I mean, maybe it's because I have a temper and I have a hard time not speaking my mind. I can't hold my tongue. And sometimes I say hurtful things even on purpose, even though I know it'll make it worse just because it feels good in the moment. Well, why is that? That's what I saw my parents do. I guess I never realized that I was just repeating what I saw growing up. Things are usually, more often than not, more caught than taught, meaning no one sat you down and said, here's what you do when you get married and when you have a disagreement. Here's how you handle that, little Johnny. You catch it and you're like, oh, okay, I'll do what you did. And you don't even realize it. I hate the term or the saying monkey see, monkey do. I really do. But honestly, like you see something, and we're not monkeys. We didn't come from monkeys. I don't think we came from apes. If we didn't, whole different topic. But that saying, you see something, you do it. That does happen with kids. You're more caught than taught. Lastly, why? So why are you repeating what you saw growing up? Well, I never learned any different, and maybe I'm blaming them for something I should be changing now that I'm an adult. Notice that the levels of why, the 5 whys, 7 whys, 10 whys, whatever you want to use, the whys always end with you. There was a saying, I believe it was Harry Truman, it may have been a different president, but he had a saying, and it was the buck stops here, meaning everyone else can pass the buck. Everyone else can say, well, someone else will take care of it, or somebody else should do this, or somebody else should do that, or I'll throw that off to this person. But at the end of the day, when you're the president, the buck stops with you. The buck stops here at his desk, meaning I have to handle all the garbage that comes. Like I have no one else to pass this off to. In your life, if you want to solve a problem, if you can pull the leaves all day, you can cut the fruit, or you can actually get to the root. If you want to solve it, you've got to be responsible for it, because if it's not your fault, it's someone else's. That surrenders your power to an externality. That means, well, I can't fix the problem because it's so-and-so's fault. It's this circumstance, that. Oh man, if I could, but I can't change that. Like the whys help you understand that you need to go take a hard look in the mirror. This is your problem to fix. And that's why, again, why? That's why you're going through this exercise. So what's the root problem of this person who's having marital issues? The root problem is that they don't know how to communicate, and they've never realized until now why they do what they do. Most people never really stop and actually think. Henry Ford said thinking is the hardest work there is. That's why so few people do. That's why so few people engage in it. That's why so few people take time to actually do it. But most people never actually look at, like, why do I do what I do? If the way I was raised, again, going on to the root problem, if the way I was raised did not equip me with emotional tools necessary to communicate well in my marriage, with my friends, with my kids, anything in business, whatever. If I wasn't equipped for that, then maybe it's time that I go out, search, and find those answers and started applying them on my own if I'm serious about fixing the issue. Again, if you don't want to really find the problem, if you don't want to go take a look in the mirror and say, what can I do to fix this? Then don't go through this exercise. I took time to produce this content. Some of the content is off the cuff, off the top of my head, things that I've been reading, listening to, talks that I heard. I just, kind of scratch down some notes or take a note while I'm driving, and then I'm like, man, this will make a killer episode. But content like this, I took time to craft this. So if you don't want to hear this, you can shut it off right now. But if you want to actually solve the problems that you're facing, then go through these exercises. And I would encourage you actually write this stuff down. I've done this several times. You can ask yourself out loud driving down the road, but nothing beats putting it down on paper, because guess what? It's staring back at you in the face, and you realize, okay, I wrote that down. That really is the truth. Man, what's the next question that I can ask myself? Why is that? Why are things that way? What can you do to solve it? And you can begin to shift the question in order to find a deeper answer. So that was example number 2. Example number 3, here's the issue. I'm not doing very well with my business. I'm not doing very well with my business. Well, why is that? Because I can't get enough customers to pay for my product or service. That's why I'm not doing well for my business. Now, if it stops there, your blame is on the customers. It's on the first reason. Well, it's the customer's fault. They don't like my stuff. No one's buying my stuff. I don't understand. It's their fault. They have poor taste. They like the place down the road better. They make better widgets. Well, okay, you can stop there. You can assign motive there, or you can go another level. Why? Well, my marketing is weak, non-existent, or ineffective. Why is that? I don't have enough proof of concept. I don't have enough evidence that what I do, what I sell, my service, me, I don't have enough evidence that it's actually a great product. I have very few testimonials to prove that I know what I'm doing, that my product is valuable, that my service is good, that it's world-class, that people should actually pay for it. Why is that? Because I'm unwilling to do work for free or give away my product or service for free in order to get more testimonials or more proof that what I have is actually worth people's money. The value exceeds the price. Why is that? Maybe it's because my ego is too big. Maybe I feel like I'm too good to work for free. I've worked too hard. I've invested too much to give my product away. So what's the root problem? This person's unwilling to pay the price necessary to succeed at the current phase, at the current level they're at. You're just starting out. In this analogy, you're just starting out your business, and you have to be willing to pay the price at each phase to move on. You've got to be willing to climb. You can't be like, all right, I'm going to show up to Mount Everest. I would like to be dropped off, roughly 30 feet from the peak, and I want an oxygen tank for sure. Give me a pack that has almost nothing in it, and I would like to go, I want one of those heated coats with the batteries working, definitely working. I want to be as warm as possible, and I want to go straight from a thermal blanket to boom, jump out of the helicopter and just get this thing done. And then I want the photo, and I want people to know what I did, but everything from, level 0, starting at the bottom to all the different base camps all the way up. I don't want any of that. I don't have to worry about dying, no avalanches, none of that. I don't need the team of people. Can you just drop me off 30 feet from the top and take it from there? That's not how this works. This person's unwilling, root cause, root problem, they're unwilling to pay the price necessary to succeed at their current level, their current phase, because the ego's too big. There's too much pride. They're not humble enough to say, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I will work for free. I will give this product or service away for free. No matter how much I put into it, no matter how much it costs me to make it, no matter how much work went into it, money, anything else, I will do whatever I need to get those testimonials. Or you can't afford to work for free because, again, going back to first example, your finances are not able to support you working for free, and you're unwilling to do something on the side to pick up work to pay your bills so you actually have the ability, time, and focus and energy to do the work for free, to get your testimonials, to then make your marketing better, to then acquire more customers. So it's a cycle. Root problem is you're unwilling to pay the price necessary at where you're currently at. Example number 4. What's the issue? I feel depressed, unmotivated, uninspired. Man, I'm just not feeling it. I can't tell you how many people I talk to and they begin a journey and they're like, yeah, I'm just not excited about it anymore. I just don't feel motivated. I was excited at first. I liked it. I loved the idea. And I just don't know if it's for me now, man. That's very cute that your feelings matter that much that you're going to quit on your dreams. So again, issue number 4, here's the example. I feel depressed, unmotivated, uninspired. Well, things aren't going the way I wanted them to. It's not going as fast as I thought it would. It's not, I thought it would be easy. I thought I thought this would come naturally to me, but like I'm having a harder time than I thought I would. Why is that? Maybe I'm not doing everything it takes to get where I want to go in life. I feel hopeless. Well, why is that? Every time things start to move forward, something happens that throws me off course. I stop doing the work it takes to win and accomplish what I want. Every time, man, something comes up, it just throws me off. Well, why is that? Well, I mean, I guess I'm acting on my emotions, and I feel like it'll never happen. There's that word, I feel. 5th why. Why? Well, I guess I listen to my thoughts more than I talk to myself about where I want to go and what I want to do and all the things that I really want most. And I'm focusing on what I'm going through instead of where I'm going to, my dreams and goals. And I guess I just, I get in my own head. So what's the root problem? I don't control my thought life. I let my emotions get me off track. The feedback loop, meaning I do the action and then I measure the action. I do that too soon. The feedback loop is too short. I need to have more of a long-term focus. I need more staying power. I need to just, I need to quit worrying about the results and trust the process instead of asking like a little 5-year-old kid, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Do I have to do any more work? Are we there? Have we arrived? So this person needs to focus on long-term focus. They need to have more patience. They need to trust the process instead of pinging off the short-term things that are going on right now. Let's move on to example number 5, and then we will put a bow on this and wrap it up. Alrighty, example number 5. Alrighty, example number 5, coming in for a landing now. What's the issue with the 5th example? No matter how much I work out, I can't seem to lose weight. This person's struggling with weight loss. And again, I varied these: business, finances, marriage. Like I picked all these different areas because I want you to understand this can work for anything. So don't be sitting there thinking, well, I don't think this could work for my issue. Write it down. Just write why on a piece of paper 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times and go as far as you need to until you really get to the root issue. And then here's a key tip for you. If you get off track and you start kind of taking a rabbit trail and you don't feel like it's leading you to the right place, go back to the last level of why. So if you got 3 deep and when you got to number 4, you're like, no, I don't think that's actually it. I wrote down something wrong. That I got distracted. I started blaming something. Keep the responsibility on yourself, number 1. Number 2, if you get off track, go back up to the last why, the fork in the road. Go back up to the last, look at that, a why, fork in the road. Anyway, 2 sides. Anyway, so go back up to the last level of why that actually made sense, where you knew you were on track. Get rid of the answers that you wrote down after that one and start there again. State problem, why, you knew you were on track there. Take that last statement and ask why again. So just kind of go track your way back up in reverse order to where you were actually going in the right direction and start again from there. So just kind of to keep yourself on the right train of thought. So anyway, 5th example, no matter how much I work out, I can't seem to lose weight. I have too much body fat. I can't seem to get down to below a certain pounds on the scale. I can't seem to get into a certain size of pants, suit, dress, whatever it is. No, I don't wear dresses. Why? I still eat way too much of the wrong foods. Well, why is that? Well, I start off the day good, but I crave junk foods, and I love food that tastes amazing more and more as the day goes on. I just want that kind of stuff. It's what I'm used to eating. Well, why is that? None of the food at my house ever sounds good, even when I'm meal prepped. Why is that? I don't like rabbit food late at night, man. I want to crunch on something. I want something good. I don't have very many healthy snack options in the house. Why is that? I guess I don't really know how to cook food that's super healthy and tastes really good, and I don't know where to start. Now, again, you could take this different directions. No matter how much, usually the first statement after you ask why kind of sets the tone. And if not, by the second or third one, you're kind of setting the tone for the direction that you're going to continue going. So no matter how much I work out, I can't seem to lose weight. Why not? Well, maybe I'm eating too much. Well, why is that? Because I'm super hungry, because I don't ever feel satisfied after a meal. Well, why is that? Well, I guess maybe I'm eating some of the wrong foods. Maybe I need more fiber, more protein. Well, why do you think that is? Well, I have this for breakfast and I feel good that I have this for lunch, but man, when I get to dinner time, I feel like this. And well, why is that? Well, every single night my friends want to go out for dinner somewhere after work, and usually I say yes, and then I end up eating something that I shouldn't. I start off good, but then I try someone else's food. Well, why is that? Well, my friends love going out to eat, and most of them are unhealthy. Well, why is that? They're unhealthy because they grew up in unhealthy households and they don't hang out with people that go to the gym or anything else. So they think what I'm doing is weird. And why is that? Well, because it makes them feel bad if I get something healthy at the restaurant because they're eating junk food and my discipline makes them uncomfortable. Well, why is you can take this in so many different directions. So make sure the statements when you ask why are actually leading you. And you might do this 4 or 5 different times to really find the root problem. But the root problem in this person's case is lack of accountability. The environment isn't really set up for success. This person has started doing most of the right things. They're working out. They're trying to eat healthy most of the day. They're meal prepping. They've started doing most of the right things for success, but not enough of them to be totally successful. And they haven't started doing the small things that equal the big things, like eliminating junk food in the house. Throw away the snack. Throw away the garbage, the crap, the junk that's in your house. Get rid of it. Getting an accountability partner. Learning how to cook healthy, great tasting food and tracking what he or she is eating and looking for trends. Man, when do I normally go off? I had, and you talk about the 5 levels of why and the simplicity really of this concept, and I'm wrapping up here. I had a weight loss client. This was, this was pre-2020, before they shut the world down. I had a weight loss client, super great guy. His name is Randy. You can see his face right now. Awesome guy. And we were working together, and he was working on a very, 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 I can't put enough varies in there without just being annoying program. Very strict, a very program. That doesn't give you any context. Super strict program. Couldn't have caffeine, couldn't have bread, couldn't have pasta, couldn't have gluten, all this different stuff. Crazy strict, had to take these certain supplements at certain times, all this stuff. And what we realized is that he was having a really, really, really difficult time at night, and he would literally sit down and he was telling me I'm eating healthy food still, but I get super snacky at night. And I'm talking dude was sitting down eating a bag of raw broccoli and a bag of raw carrots in the evening because he had substituted that for his potato chips. What we realized was he didn't need to eat. He wasn't eating bad food as a snack. He was just snacking, and he's like, dude, I'm insatiably hungry. He's like, but I don't always feel like that. It's just sometimes. So I traced it back. Well, why is that? Why is that? Why is that? I traced it up to, okay, what's the cue? What's causing the hunger? Because if I have a behavior, I want to ask why. And when I ask why I do that, I want to ask, okay, what's the thing before that? So there's a concept in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, and I've talked about this book many, many, many times. I believe it's episode 2. I first mentioned the book in the podcast. But one of the things he talks about is a concept called cue, stimulus, response, reward. And there might be another one in there, but anyway, so cue, meaning in Randy's case, the TV is turned on. Stimulus is, I'm bored. Cue, stimulus, response to me being bored is, I go grab something to eat. Reward is I have something satisfying in my mouth that's crunchy, and man, this feels great. I get a dopamine hit. Oh, man, I'm getting a snack. So that cycle, cue, boom, turn on the TV. Stimulus, oh man, I'm kind of bored. My mind's kind of checked out. I just want something to do with my hands and mouth. I just want to eat. Response, I go grab something to eat. Reward, oh man, this is great. Dopamine hit. This food's awesome. Whole bag of chips, whatever. That was his problem. And we traced back to the levels of why, and we solved that problem simply. And guess what? Hey man, when you get done with work and you come home, when it gets to that time that you would normally flip on the TV, I'm not saying you can't, but go do something else. More often than not, go do something else. And he's like, yeah, I got a shop. I got a garage I can go into and just kind of piddle around, or my wife and I could go do this and this, or I could have more healthy snacks in the house if snacking is no longer the problem, that I'm just trying to make sure that I get the right stuff. We problem solved that issue because we were willing to ask why, make statements, and then take data or trends. Okay, so I'm noticing when you said this, you also said that happens because of this. Well, that sounds like this to me. Does that sound right to you? It seems like this. It looks like that. Well, yeah, you know what? I never really thought about that because, man, such and such happened, and that triggers this. And then I think about so ask yourself why. Begin to observe your behavior in life. So few people do this. If you're willing to really go take a hard look in the mirror and ask yourself, why am I the way I am? Why do I do what I do? How can I fix this? You'll be so far ahead of so many people in the areas that you ask these questions in. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. If it was helpful, As always, share the show, like the show, leave a review, and I will talk to you guys in episode number 49, the next episode.